at Unconfiscatable Conference with Ken Kruger from PayWithMoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Let's have a chat. You have a new feature, like upgraded your system. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so since we last spoke, we added some upgrades to our product. So for example, initially cards expired after 24 hours. Now they last 30 days. That's been a big thing. Cards can be not just used one time, they can be used as many times as you'd like. We added a web app, so if you don't feel like installing a browser extension, now you can just install, or rather you can just go to our website, you don't have to install anything. And coming soon, we're going to have on-chain Bitcoin payments in addition to Lightning Network and our Coinbase integration. Working on Apple Pay and Google Pay integration, that'll be out soon. So really, however you want to get Bitcoin into Moon cards, and wherever you want to spend your Moon cards, however you want to use them, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and so we skipped the intro, but like for those who don't know, what is the Moon card?
That's a good question. So Moon, our platform allows you to create these virtual Visa cards. Right? There's a Moon.
It's only Visa or Master also?
Right, it's only Visa.
Is Visa easier to work with than MasterCard? Or?
I think it's just a matter of relationships. We ended up just going with Visa. We've had a great relationship, great experience with them so far. I have had no experience working with MasterCard. Yep. So, but I like Visa. It's everywhere you want to be, as they say.
Is it a phone app or?
So we have a browser plugin, and you can go on our website, use our web app. We'll have a mobile app at some point. But so far, people really appreciate the privacy, and they don't have to install anything and have something on your phone. Just go to the website.
Like I have a nice little virtual credit card, and then how do I top it up?
So what you do is you just say create a card. You say type in you want $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to load onto that card. You'll see, if you want to pay with Lightning, for example, you'll get a QR code. That's your Lightning invoice. You scan that with your favorite Lightning Network wallet, and pretty much a second later, you get your Moon Visa card. And now you can use that to spend wherever you want. And the notable aspect here is that we do this in a very privacy-preserving way. So we don't require any KYC. We don't need to ask for any personal identifying information. This is very private. We've structured this in such a way because we want to help people maintain their privacy when they're making online payments. It's very important to the community.
So maybe you probably know a lot about the traditional card industry. So what is wrong with credit cards and like the data that's being used by the providers? So
there's all sorts of problems with that. I think the most important one is that it excludes a lot of people, right? If you're unbanked, underbanked, you don't have documentation. There's a lot of people like that in the U.S., but also internationally and abroad.
So I don't need any KYC at all?
There's no KYC at all.
It reminds me at the airport, sometimes there is this vending machine and you insert cash and you get like a disposable, 30-day prepaid credit card. Is it like similar like that?
It's somewhat similar to that, exactly. But this way you're using your Bitcoin, you get the privacy of the Lightning Network on top of that. And it's really convenient. It's online. You can just do it on your phone, whatever. The problem with KYC, a lot of people think, it's great, it's going to make everything safer. Well, the way I look at it is, if a company requires KYC, well, now you're just incentivizing people to purchase other people's personal information on the dark web, right? That happens all the time. So you're creating this bad incentive. The other thing you're doing is you're creating a honeypot of personal information for hackers and people to try to access, right? We see these hacks all the time. The personal information gets out there. If we don't have your personal information, there's nothing to leak. There's nothing that they can hack, So I think that's important.
So I do want to know, though, you must have a little bit of insight. So what is the use case? What do users like to use your card for? You mentioned, you can shop anywhere. So right now it's US. Can you maybe share like a customer experience or a customer journey? Like what would I do with the card? Where do people like to shop?
Yeah, so it's actually very similar to what you'd normally see in terms of obviously most of the shopping is happening on Amazon, right? Just like most.
So it works with Amazon.
Yeah, it works on Amazon, it works at any US e-commerce merchant, right? So mostly on Amazon, but you see Best Buy, you see electronics, automotive parts, and then sometimes you'll see people, OnlyFans is a fun one, right? People, if maybe you're married, you don't want your wife to see that you created an OnlyFans account, right? So you're going to want to use a privacy-focused product to make sure that your wife or husband doesn't see that.
That's actually interesting. Just out of curiosity, like how do you see your relationship with Amazon at that point? Like, are there rumors about Jeff Bezos buying on the balance perhaps? eBay just recently came over and announced, yeah, there are plans end of March release maybe. So once Amazon would ever get to that stage where they would say, hey, we do crypto processing now, would that render your card obsolete, or you think there still would be value in that?
I think there's a lot of value in it because with Amazon, you're still, if they're accepting your crypto at some point, they're going to get your personal information. They're probably going to require that, right? And I think more and more you're going to see these requirements. They're going to want more information, more tracking. They want to know more of who you are. So increasingly, privacy protecting tools are going to be very valuable, even if merchants accept it directly, right? And maybe it is Amazon that starts accepting it, or Best Buy accepts it. Over time, obviously, that'll happen. We all want that to happen. But think about point of sale, right? Is every point of sale system, how long is it going to take every point of sale system to now accept Bitcoin? Every e-commerce merchant to accept Bitcoin. Well, they already accept Visa, right? So in the short term, you have a really great solution to spend your Bitcoin and do so privately.
So you're still a startup. What's your growth plan? How are you growing? Are you looking for fundraising also?
Yeah, so we raised some funding last year. We're going to be raising a bit more upcoming this year. We've been growing the team. We had huge spikes in user growth recently, so it's been going great. We've not really done any paid acquisition. We just go to some conferences, speak to folks like yourself. Really doing some outreach to the community. We're on Twitter @PayWithMoon. We're going to be doing some acquisition soon. We'll be running some ads and things like that, but always looking for partners, always looking for folks to help spread the word.
You're based in New York City, so the financial capital. Do you go to events there? Like if you talk to traditional finance people, and you tell them, hey, look, I have this card, I can top up with Lightning. So what's their reaction? Like, do they take it serious?
Believe it or not, I don't talk to that many people in traditional finance anymore. And surprisingly, a lot of people, especially our age in traditional finance, they're very well aware of Bitcoin. They're understanding what's going on. They see the writing on the wall. They understand what's coming. So I think they get very excited about these types of things. The biggest one is people would say, I've invested in Bitcoin, why would I spend it? It's an investment asset. And that's where I think a lot of people, they don't see the full picture. They don't see that people in the developing world, Venezuela, Argentina, Nigeria, right? These are places where the currency is not that good. Like we're very fortunate in the US with the US dollar, as much as we may want to replace it with Bitcoin, right? It's very stable. Right, so other people, they see Bitcoin as an escape from their local currency, and I do think that eventually we're going to see people in the U.S. using Bitcoin more and more as a medium of exchange, as something that they want to live on, and just opt out of the traditional fiat payment system altogether.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. I've been following you guys, and the product is developing, getting better. Also, I see a lot of variety and versatility for the use, right? So GPay, I'm a big fan of GPay, to be honest, because the phone, the NFC, it's just tap to pay, it's awesome. But I am aware of the privacy aspect, right? So would you recommend, say, adding a MoonPay once you have the feature, right? Soon, hopefully, adding it to. I would like that I could then say I top up my virtual Moon card with Lightning from my Moon wallet, top the Moon, from Moon to Moon, and then I add it to GPay, and I could pay basically with Lightning.
I think
the only downside is Google probably is going to take some data, but
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's just that would associate you with that card, right? But the privacy thing is now it doesn't, if you paid for that card through Lightning, you're not tied to the originating Bitcoin, right? So in that sense, it is going to shield you in certain ways, right? And there's privacy in terms of protecting the merchant. Like the merchant's not getting your actual card information in case the merchant gets hacked, or it's a sketchy merchant and maybe you don't trust them that much. You want to use a virtual card. Maybe you're at a point of sale system and normally you'd swipe your card. There's all sorts of those card scanners and skimmers that try to get your card details, right? You have to worry about that with virtual cards with us. And there's varying degrees of privacy, right? Adding it to Apple Pay and Google Pay, right? You're going to sacrifice a little bit of that privacy, but it really depends, how much you're expecting to be subpoenaed by the government, and are they going to go to Apple and this company and that company, right? Yeah. So it depends how paranoid you are, but it's as good as you're going to get. We offer the most privacy-preserving way to spend your Bitcoin in the world, maximally allowed by law. So,
your take on CBDCs and do you know anything about what China is doing with the digital yuan and how the adoption really goes with versus
I don't know about how how well it's being adopted. I don't think that adoption is necessarily optional. You're gonna use it whether you want to or not, right? I think as a person, it scares living shit out of me, because I would not want to live in a world where that's the currency I have to use. From a technology perspective, I think it's very interesting, and like the things, have money expire and inflate or deflate at different rates. Like, it's super interesting theoretically. I think we're going to see more and more of that happening now, not just in China but other countries around the world. So it's like a really interesting experiment. But if I were in China, I would be very, very concerned about that.
But you also see that WeChat Pay and Alipay, I think, they are actually taking the rate, they're so strong that the government had to kind of give up. That's what I heard. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about that.
So let's move on then. What is in the U.S.? I think the people are scared that the war on cash is going on and stuff. But there's also a very solid regulatory security in that sense. So like also your service, right? The reason why it works, I guess, is because you rely on basic laws and rights that grant these very important basic human rights. Financial privacy is nothing bad. It's actually very important.
Sure. Yeah, no, financial privacy is very important. We operate within the law. We had to do a lot of research how to figure out how to do this. It's not easy, but we're putting up, I wouldn't say we're putting up a fight, but what we're doing is we're really pushing to the maximum extent allowed by law, and I think it's all of our responsibility to make sure that the law doesn't change to be more restrictive, and we've seen that recently with a lot of bills proposed in Congress. They want to do more financial tracking. They want to do more just really monitoring everything that you're doing in terms of your financial life. I think we collectively, as a community and society, we need to push against that. And us as a company, Moon, we're going to maximally do whatever we can to preserve privacy.
Awesome. How can users engage? Who should try it? Like, who is it for? And how can they get in touch?
Absolutely. So if you have Bitcoin, you want to try spending it through Moon, you go to PayWithMoon.com. Follow us on Twitter at PayWithMoon. Pretty much everywhere we're just at PayWithMoon. So check us out. You can reach out. Email me, Ken at PayWithMoon.com. Happy to chat with anybody and give the product a shot and let me know if you like it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ken.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Best of success further on. Thanks.